What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on the last Saturday of March 2026. Where did the time go? What? It's done already. My gosh. And here in Toronto, where I'm based, it's like Celsius-wise about 0 degrees Celsius. Fahrenheit-wise, it's 32 degrees. We've had spring for over a week. It's 32 degrees. I even saw some really, really small snowflakes today, believe it or not. But doesn't matter. That's all right. I feel spring in my bones. And I had a good chance to go out for a nice lunch today. And it was funny. When I go to restaurants, I don't know about anybody else, but I watch the staff. I watch how the restaurant is operating and the staff. And there was this waiter, and he's laughing and having fun. And he came to our tables. He's like, "Oh, you enjoying what you're doing?" He goes, "Yeah, man. I just do what I do. I just have fun." And I just love to make things happen. I say, love that. So I don't even care what my customers think. If they don't like me, they don't like me. I just live on with my life. So, so as Jill Scott would say, living my life like it's golden. He was living his life like he's golden. But enough of me. You want to hear me. We are back with the 9K twins. That's all I'm going to call them, the 9K twins. La.
Hello.
And Dr. Tachi are in the house. What is going on Primetime Saturday? Unfortunately, Aisha is not with us today, but do just say prayer. She's having some going to a family funeral today. So do have her in your hearts. Ladies, what is going on?
A lot. I do have some good news. So you asked for prayers for Aisha, but I am also calling on my prayer warriors because it looks like the case for my sisters will be moving forward this week. Now, there may be a bump on Monday. I'm not going to claim that as a bump, but on Monday, they are supposed to be picking a jury. And on Tuesday, we are supposed to be going to trial. I have not been talking about it lately just because I've just been fasting and praying over it. But it looks like we are finally here. And that brings on a brand new set of anxiety for me. Because the last 3 years I fought hard just to get here. Then you don't think when you get here, what's going to come next? So I need all of my prayer warriors to please uplift my sisters, Aisha and Valerie.
No problem. That is good. So I was going to ask for a win. That's a huge win. So that is cool. Dr. Tachi is in the house.
Hello.
Dr. Tachi, you hanging out a little bit with us lately. You hang out with me on Friday.
Yes.
And was it the week before that? You were, you here.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to start calling this Mediascope too?
I guess I'm a weekend warrior.
Yeah. So give us a win since people saw you here.
Oh, a good win is, so I had to take some antibiotics recently, and it wasn't a big deal. It was like a normal thing. But what I didn't know is that antibiotic is one that could cause tendon tears and tendon problems. So I've been walking around mad as hell. I was like, damn it, if I had known, I would have asked them to give me something else. But so I went to the doctor and she was like, "Oh, you'll be fine." And I actually feel better. It could be the fact of that this was something that could happen that made me think, act a little more carefully. But I did feel a little something in my shoulders, but I feel a lot better now. So, and for somebody as active as I am, it's annoying if you can't work out or do things. So
100%.
And then wondering why, like, what's going on? Like, that's a new feeling. I get it.
Yes. What is this? I don't partake in the illness arts. I don't do that.
Oh gosh, another entry into the Dr. Tachi dictionary: illness arts.
The illness arts.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we already have some family in here. Enlightened Beings Love First is here saying, family, good to have you here. And fan number 1, Jen Meyer, says, hello, everyone.
Hey,
and Enlightened Beings Love First says, love having Dr. Tachi. Yes, I speak with Enlightened Beings periodically, and she is a huge fan of Dr. Tachi.
Oh, I'm a fan of Enlightened Beings.
Yes, I spoke with her this week, and I'm saying, man, maybe you should come on one time and hang out with Dr. Tachi here. So she says, I'll get there. I'll get there.
You should.
You should. The more, the merrier. For myself, various ones. One thing I did find out is we broadcast live on Substack. And after it's finished, it saves it to their platform. And in the past, what I was doing was I was uploading the video, because I save everything, back onto their platform, but I was doing some navigating around their platform. It saves it and you can publish it straight from there. So so you don't have to re-up the video. It's already saved there, and you can edit and add stuff in, and you can publish it live on their platform. So I said content creation, and then also, what else content creation wise? Well, Dr. Tachi. Oh, well, both of you know the name Kirk Nugent?
Yes.
Okay. So Kirk Nugent is, and anyone who wants some great tips on content creation, check him out. This is a suggestion. Check him out. His thought process is so on that. So he has his own community online on the school platform. And I've been blessed that I got in before it became paid, but there's different levels. But I'm just doing the free one. And I do a lot of content on there, giving updates about StreamYard. And yesterday he said, man, you are really up on this thing. Would you like to be our StreamYard expert on the platform? Oh. So I said, I mentioned back, say, what does that entail? Because I would love that. That'd be some major credibility.
But I keep telling you, Dr. Vibe, you come on like you're not. That's next level. But so are you, sir. So are you. Just trying to say.
So two things are making me shake my head. You and your nonsense, what you just said, Lala, and then Dr. Tachi's laugh. Just great combination. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. But I was really humbled that he put that out there, and I will pursue that because I'd love to be out there. And Lala, this Wednesday again at 2 p.m. Eastern time, you'll see who you may not be available because there's trial stuff. So I fully understand. Okay, no problem.
I have to miss that one.
And actually, too, there's a feature on StreamYard that I've been using that they haven't even put live on their updates page yet, that I'm going to make sure I share with the Kirk Nugent community. And I go, what? But you'll see it in action. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, Lala, before we go to break, do you want to mention anything about No King's Day today?
I do. Guess what's not being reported in America?
Why? I have no clue.
No King's Day. It is expected to top 10 million.
Are you kidding?
They are expecting it to get that high. And 3.0, that was on the high side. I think the last one they said 7 million. And don't quote me on that because I didn't look the ones that actually showed up. But they are actually estimating 9 to 10 million this time. These protests are growing and growing. And just in Minneapolis, they were expecting over 100,000. just in Minneapolis city. I didn't say the state, I said in the city. That's quite a bit. And this too also is worldwide. I do know for a fact that Lisbon, Portugal had a lot of expats protesting today as well. So this isn't just in America, it's worldwide and it's growing. And just like last time, they completely suppressed any information about it. Now the day is not over. Of course, numbers will start trickling in a little bit more, and I will take my numbers from reliable sources, not any American media. But I'm gonna tell you right now, even Al Jazeera is reporting on this, and they are really, letting the world know that the American people are not happy. We don't agree with what this administration is doing, and we're protesting. And the question is always, what does protesting do? Well, protesting has more power than you think that it does. For one, it allows other people to see that other people feel the same way that they do. Because at first you feel like, am I in this by myself? Am I the only one who's feeling this way? But when you come out and you see other people who are also feeling the same way that you do, there is strength in numbers. So they are expecting this one to even top quite a few, much more than the 2.0.
Thank you for that update. Lala, also, I think you had said Americans are happy. I think people worldwide are not happy because, and we're going to get into it in a few moments, this war is having an impact globally. Right. And Dr. Tachi, we've lost your video. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No, I wasn't aware.
Yeah, we don't have you on video.
Now there you are.
No, all of a sudden it just I don't know.
It just switch
off.
off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's fine.
So yeah, it's gonna be this is a global thing because everyone's being impacted, and the real impact, it starts at the gas pump. Oh, you know what? Let's leave it for a few moments. All right, let's go to break. We're going to break. We're going to do some break time for a quick second, and then we're going to do some housekeeping. I keep wanting to say homework. I don't want to do homework. We lost you on video again, Dr. Tachi.
I got it.
You got it? You got it?
I got it.
I don't know what's happening.
We're going to go to break. We'll be back in 41 seconds.
Toronto, July 25th. The Narrative Power Summit is landing in the 6. This is about ownership.
This is about controlling our story.
If you're serious about narrative power, strategy, and ownership, this is the room you need to be in. To get your tickets, go to africandiasporanews.org/Canada. I'll see you in Toronto.
Well, I want to see you in Toronto too at the ADNC Narrative Power Summit at the Aqua Supper Club in Toronto, Saturday, July 25th from 5 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. There's the link. All right, let's get down to some housekeeping. Girlfriends Chat at 2 different places. And in the near future, I'm speaking, it's going to be on YouTube. I'm pushing for that, by the way. Primetime Saturday Store, the link is there. Also, join our Discord group. Link is there, or you can email me at dr.vibe, the dr.vibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on the show, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. I'm going to let Dr. Tachi talk about this, IndieSoup TV.
IndieSoup Media is an independent network for independent content creators, and we would love for you to check out everything we have. We're still on sabbatical until June, but we have lots of great content, 30 shows on the platform. So go through and watch on demand. You can find us on YouTube. We're on other platforms, but YouTube is the main one, and that's at IndieSoup Media. And you can also reach out to us on social media at IndieSoup Media.
Well done. You didn't have to rehearse that. You just knew it like no problem. Good for you.
Got them elevator pitches. We learned how to do those.
Also, if you got a question or take, call in via callme.ro.com and use the code FSPL8L. And we got some things here. We got some comments here. The Enlightened Beings Love First says, the world is going to stand up and unify. We are seeing it right before our eyes. And Enlightened Beings said, I watched some great stuff there. Shows, I guess they're talking about IndieSoup Media.
Yes.
They love it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Good stuff. All right. We got our first conversation topic. We're going to give a little bit of a backgrounder for we'll be back in about 2 minutes. So here we go.
If you're asking what Iran's new demands are to end the war with the United States, the answer is simple. Tehran is not just asking for a pause. It's demanding a full set of political and military concessions before it will agree to stop fighting. According to multiple reports, Iran has rejected the U.S. ceasefire proposal and instead laid out its own 5 conditions. First, it wants a complete halt to what it calls aggression and assassinations. In plain language, that means no more strikes on Iranian targets and no more targeting of Iranian officials. Second, Iran wants concrete guarantees that the war will not be restarted later. That is a big demand, because Tehran is saying a ceasefire is not enough unless there is some enforceable mechanism to keep the conflict from being reimposed on it. Third, Iran is demanding reparations for war damage. That means compensation for the destruction and losses caused during the fighting, and that part of the proposal is likely to be one of the biggest obstacles in any negotiation. Fourth, Tehran wants the fighting to stop across all fronts, including the regional groups allied with Iran. Reports say that includes an end to attacks involving groups such as Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, and Shia militias in Iraq. And fifth, Iran wants international recognition of its sovereign right to control the Strait of Hormuz. That is a massive demand, because the strait is one of the world's most important oil shipping routes, and any claim over it has global economic consequences. So what does all this mean? Iran is basically saying no more attacks, no repeat war, pay for the damage, stop the regional fighting, and accept our authority over a key strategic waterway. At the same time, the U.S. proposal reportedly includes limits on Iran's nuclear and missile programs and demands related to maritime security. So both sides are not just talking about ending the war. They are trying to force the other side into a new regional order. That's why this is not a simple ceasefire story. It's a power struggle over security, sovereignty, money, and influence in the Middle East.
All right. So we're talking about what are Iran's new demands to end the war with the U.S., but also we're just going to, I was going to say this week in the war. maybe. So Rob, so that's also encompassed in this conversation. So who would like to jump in first?
I would.
Uh-oh. Are you going to be on fire like last week?
Jump.
Okay, here we go.
Listen, I'll everything in our intro to the story is absolutely correct. Those are the facts. And Trump keeps saying that we're actually winning, but Iran is not acting like a country that thinks is losing. You hear? There's a difference between that. Their demands are not surrender language. Let me say that again. Their demands are not surrender language. And they're digging in, they're setting their own terms and making it very, very clear that this war is not ending on Trump's fantasy timeline, because that's what this is. Iran released also a very powerful and frightening video this week. And it circulated a video called One Vengeance for All. And it's showing a missile blasting a demonic version of the Statue of Liberty. And that matters because it shows that this war is being fought on 2 fronts at once, with military force and with psychological warfare, because a lot of that video wasn't just them coming into a missile for the United States of America. It literally showed people that Trump's administration has impacted and how America has also impacted other people with their bullying. They see us as a bully. They see us as a demon. So this is psychological warfare, not just with missiles. And it's not just firing these missiles. Like they are they have nothing to lose. It is broadcasting a message to the world that this conflict is now about just spectacle. This is not just intimidation. You know, they are saying they will get their revenge for what the United States has done. Meanwhile, Orange Shit Pants is doing what he always does. He's turning this crisis into a branding opportunity. He referred to the Strait of Hormuz as the Strait of Trump, because apparently even one of the most dangerous choke points on earth has to be fed by his ego machine. Now, this level of unseriousness sitting on top of a deadly expanding war is putting the world in a crisis, not just America, because this is another chance for him to want to put his name on everything. So he's saying that he owns the whole world, to be damned with anyone else in the whole wide world. His name should be on everything. But the reality of this war, it's getting harder for him to actually control it, because more and more real news is being put out. The real sources are putting this stuff out, and more people are now, I'm hoping that we have helped people do that, are turning to news that is reporting what needs to be reported. So Trump is actually stuck, and he's stuck in this between escalation and trying to find an exit, because he can't get up out of here, because Iran continues its retaliatory strikes and keeps a chokehold on the Gulf oil and gas shipments. And if y'all don't know, you might lose your internet, because where does most of it go? Through the Straits of Hormuz. And that is blocked off. If they wanted to be cute, they can go down in emotions and shut down those pipes. Also, Trump's approval ratings have dropped to 36%. That is the lowest since he has returned to the office, and the war is deeply unpopular with the public, including his home base. So the more he shouts about victory, the more facts he keeps lying about, like this is something that he didn't create, they're being called out because he created all of it. Now, if you want more proof that this administration knows that this war is going to drag on, look at what the Department of War just did. They have extended the window for troops to come back in, because remember, they cut out a lot of people when COVID came and they didn't want to take the shot. So they kicked a lot of people out. Well, you got to go. You can't do it. Well, now they're asking them to please come back, and they're extending that to April 1st of next year, not this year, because they first is this week, right? So they're also extending the age. So instead of 37, they've moved it up to 42. This is, y'all, this ain't nothing but plain English. They want experienced bodies, because they actually said the younger generation can't handle this. They said they're too fat, they're too lazy, and they on too much medication, or medicating themselves with some type of drug. So now they want the experienced people. So the government needs to widen what it needs to get what it wants. Y'all, if you don't think a draft is coming, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's coming. Pete Hegseth, don't forget, we talked about this last week. He asked Congress for $200 billion in addition, so that he can have more with war. Y'all, this is just nothing but a complete nightmare. This war should have never been started. And now the administration is trying to dress up its escalation like an ugly pig, putting a lipstick on it and sending it out saying, dee, 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 boop, boop, be doo, for the Americans to be, oh, look at Betty Boop. Like they are really going to go for it. They need to pull up out of this. They need to admit what they've done. But will he ever do that? No. But let me tell you something else. The Marines have been called in. You don't call the Marines if you don't think that you're going to have boots on the ground. That is what they do. Each and every service department that we have has assignments. The Marines are boots on the ground. This is not a win. This is a loss for the American people. This is a loss for our beautiful and strong military who are willing to die for this country, and in my opinion, for this illegal war. And it's an embarrassment for the whole world because it was started for nothing but vanity. That's all I gotta say. I need a sip of wine.
Okay. So what we're going to do before I let Dr. Tachi chime in, we're going to do a poll. And we're going to take our first poll for the day. So our first poll of the day is this. Have U.S.-Iran tensions change your gas prices? So you can please vote 1, yes, way up, 2, a little, 3, no change. All right, people already voting. I love it. There we go. So Dr. Tachi, it is your turn.
So, you know, to go after Lala is like asking somebody to sing after Patti LaBelle. It's useless.
We got that. That is that's a tweetable. No, that's social media, not tweet. Social media shareable. All right. Okay. I love it. Go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Yeah. So I co-sign on everything that Lala said, 100%. She brought up so many things. And if you can tell, I was a debater in high school because I'm always writing down things because I was the summation speaker. So I always had to write down things so that I could get to people's points. And that stays with me to this day. So let's talk about this whole thing of this resurgence of American imperialism. It's always been there, but quietly. Now it's loud. And the whole thing Lala was saying about him needing to have his name on everything, all of that thing. I mean, imperialism is based in ego, regardless of where it comes from. All we have to do is look at the saying when the stupid British Empire always said the sun never sets on the British Empire. That's ego. So it all comes from the same place, but it's really interesting that you do this places where you have no jurisdiction to do anything. And so there are a lot of things here, but you start illegal conflicts without the say-so of the people who actually have the power to tell you, okay, go ahead, we all agree with this. Because not only are you trying to take energy away and attention away from the files, you also are very egotistical and you want to see your name in lights. Because you could not get it in Hollywood, you decided, I'll do you one better. I'll become the king of the world. So, not that I have 100% empirical proof that this is the case, but if you string the little beads of this wicked necklace together, this is what you come up with. Okay. He's not getting it because for them, this is all attention. All you have to do is listen to it. It's interesting because all you have to do is listen to when he talks about things. The whole thing about the Sharpies and how he was able to get Sharpies down to, was it $5 each, $6 each, as if they should cost that much, right? So this tells us why you've been bankrupt a few times if you think Sharpies should cost $5 each. That's a different case. But the way he talked about things in such simplistic terms lets you know that this is wildly out of his realm. So doing this is not because you want to be able to have your hands in all of these things because you're knowledgeable about it. It's because you want your name in lights. And that is a very dangerous position because somebody who only lives to have their name in lights is a severe danger to everyone else because they'll do things at all costs. So that's to the point of having the name on everything. Secondly, this is very interesting because I'm like, I don't think this is why it pays. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have children that are in college or going to college, please let them take an international communication, intercultural communication, some sort of political science that has to do with international relations so that they can understand the way culture works and what different cultures require. Many Arab cultures don't take disrespect well. When have you ever seen Iran get tired of a conflict. When? So the thing is, they're approaching it. Oh yeah, they'll get tired. We've won. I'm like, listen, these are our societies that have been around for thousands and thousands of years, and so they're still, in some cases, they're still fighting. These things. They don't get tired of these conflicts. So what you have to do is you need to understand where your quote unquote opponent is coming from, where their head is, and how they're not doing any of that because they approach it from a very narrow American lens. And I say narrow because we, not present company included, I'd say the proverbial we are the most narrow-minded individuals on earth. And that's because they've stripped critical thinking out of systems where we should be learning those types of things. And it's not something many people get at home. So the simplest things we can't understand. Anybody who understood world politics or understood culture, forget the politics, culture would know, okay, these are not the people to be played with because X, Y, and Z. This is all cultural as well. And because you with your American exceptionalism, you think everybody wants to do the things the way you do. You think, oh, if I go in, it'll be over in a minute because what did I say last week with Lord of the Flies? The British are best at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, to the last point I want to make, it's interesting, Lala, you were talking about the age of draft being raised to 42. First of all, nobody wants to go and fight your funky fight at 42 years old. That's still young, but at 42, you're thinking, all right, where am I in my career? What is it that I'm going to do? Some people are even, depending if you work for the government or whatever, you may be looking at retirement. I know people that work in the school systems, for example, and they're retired by that age because they put in a good 30 years. You think I want to go and fight your little funky battle? No, they don't. They don't at all. So you said, they're not looking toward younger ages because they're too lazy, they're too unhealthy, and they're too medicated. That's everybody in the US. That's all of us. And this is where I'll land. You've created a society that is dependent upon medicine, dependent because of the unhealthy food which you pushed, and a leisurely lifestyle with tools and toys that make things sometimes overly easy. But believe me, I love ease, but some things are just ridiculous, right? So you've created this society, and now you're upset that you're not going to get any, or you will be upset that you won't get anybody to come and why? You created this. It's the same thing that I always say when they're, the people who think they're above people of color. Let me talk about black because I'm black. Where people talk about black people, the racismas talk about black people like, oh, well, why should they be there? How do they deserve this? Listen, you're upset because you put us in a position and forced us to be amongst ourselves and to be 75 times more excellent because we had to show that we could. And so now you're upset that you created a super race of people and now you're mad. It's the same thing here. I land my plane.
I don't know what I enjoy more, Dr. Tachi's commentary or Lala's reactions. They go hand in hand. Look at this. Someone says to you, Dr. Tachi, I like this lady. I could listen to her all day.
I love it.
Jamaica News, I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. So ladies, let me ask you something here. So I just want to ask some roles. Where's JD Vance?
Hiding. Y'all, he don't want no part of this. He keeps you done got real quiet and went behind the rock because he doesn't agree with this war. And he doesn't know what to do with himself. You would have thought that he would have learned what happens to Trump's vice presidents Next, he gonna be coming at. They gonna be coming after Utah with the noose like they did Pence because you're not there beside him.
Not to interrupt, Lala, but remember, they all think somehow they are different. They don't learn from past misgivings and mistakes of other people because he said, oh, well, I'm not like Penn. I'm different. It's going to be different this time. They are not. See, they don't listen to Maya Angelou. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. They think somehow they are different, just like Vance's wife. Think she's different. So everybody that is of color, that is in like Flynn with these individuals, they think somehow they're different. That it's different for them. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to put that in there. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
There was no interruption. That was a point. Because it's true. It's always been. It's not us. It's not us. It's the them problem. And the them is anybody who doesn't agree with them. They think they're a part of this, and then when they are suddenly enlightened that guess what, bro, you're not one of them either. It's a whole nother ball game. Because have y'all heard Pence say another word? Pence is like, I'm just gonna stand over here in my corner, like the Blair Witch, like they did with the Blair Witch kid, put him in the corner. he don't say nothing no more.
Not the Blair Witch Project. Listen, you're a church girl, so you understand what this means when you're trying to tip out. JD Vance is chipping out of church with his finger up. He's done.
Exactly.
He's just trying to not to make too much noise on his way out.
That's right.
So I think we have another member of the Dr. Tachi fan club because AI Jamaican Rune says interrupt more.
No, it's not nice to interrupt. I'm sorry. It's not good communication.
Let me ask another conversation piece. Reparations for Iran, is that a fair ask?
I hate to say this because we ain't getting no reparations and the world ain't gonna give us no reparations either. But honestly, we started this shit. We killed children, a whole school of children. I want you to understand that. I'm gonna start there. Yes, they deserve reparations for what we have done to their country. That's not un-American to me. That's the truth. This war was started on no reason at all. Because remember when they first came out, y'all, this isn't a war. This is a conflict. Yeah, you said that just so you can get around what the Congress was supposed to do. You went around everything. But listen, I blame Congress as well because they didn't stand up with the spine that they needed to do to stop this mess. So yes, I agree with them. They do need reparations for what they've done.
Okay, before I get Dr. Tachi's response to that, AI Jamaican you says LOL and also believes in the reparations. It says give it to them. Okay, with not only for the don't. Okay, so got a comment here saying the war with Iran terrorists is not only for the Iranian people, it's for the American people. I don't know how people can miss that point.
You need to clarify it. This ain't shit about the American people. Clear it up, clean it up. Need to hear what your real point is because no, it is not for the American people. The American people don't want this.
It's like ordering for someone at a restaurant. Do you ever notice I use a lot of analogies to explain things? I just noticed that now. But it's like ordering for someone at a restaurant. And there's like, but I don't want potato salad with raisins in it. No, trust me, you'll like this. This is different. You'll like this one. So we continue to get the potato salad with raisins that we did not order because somebody else thinks it's good for us. But I didn't want that. It's never. So I think maybe you want to clarify your point a little bit more before we actually respond to that, because I'm not sure if you mean it or you're just trolling. So let us know. So to the point of, what was your question? I'm sorry, I got lost in potato salad. What was your question?
Reparations for Iran. Oh my God.
Reparations. Yes. Yes. If we look at the history of we only did it with ourselves. But I was just talking about this the other day, that if you can, during the Civil War, not only did you help to repair the South because you were a fractured country, right? So not only did you help to rebuild during Reconstruction, you had the gumption and audacity to give people who held enslaved people reparations for the loss. So you don't talk about not having a history of, oh, well, we've done, no, you've done it before. You have a history of doing these things before. You can even look at World War II and some of the things that were done there, although it wasn't enough, but you could look at some of the things that were done there. So yes, absolutely. You started this. I don't care what you thought, what you saw, we used bad intelligence. You started it. You have to finish it by doing what's right. And I know, I don't think we're talking about this today, but I'm not surprised if it doesn't happen, and they will fight tooth and nail, because as you know, the United Nations made a declaration of enslavement being the greatest.
If I have permission, I'm going to be talking about that on Monday morning show with Emma Ansa. So we're going to continue that point, because I think that's something else we got to be talking about maybe next week's show. That is a big point right there.
Listen,
yes, but please finish that thought though, because it needs to be said.
Yes. So I'm trying to relate it here. It has been labeled by the United Nations the big, or at least one of the biggest crimes against humanity, that it is a crime against humanity. That's the way they did it. So all the United Nations member countries voted. Of course, it was the countries of the global South that all agreed with it and said yes. The countries of the European Union abstained, cowards. And I hope there are some EU people.
Canada did too.
Yeah, and Canada abstained, cowards. It wasn't just European Union, but I'm saying it was there, and there were some other ones that also abstained. But the only ones that said no, and you know what, I would have respected you. I still don't respect you, but I would have seen a little bit more had you said outright no, because at least you are standing on a spine rather than spineless, or I'll abstain, because you still participate and benefit from the transatlantic slave trade. So you're not going to say anything because you don't want to pay for it. The US, Israel, and Argentina, surprise, surprise, they voted no.
No.
All right.
So as far as I'm concerned, the three of you can take Southwest Flight 316 to hell.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I endorsed that message.
All right. So a few things. So I'm gonna catch up on a few things. Okay. We have a poll here. It seems that everyone, let me just finish because I'm going to go to another poll. So we're going to stop the poll. So people who had voted say U.S. Iran have changed your gas prices. Everyone says yes, all the way up. Guess what? I'm going to give another poll. So, and I'll ask the ladies this question too. Should the U.S. accept Iran's no more attacks guarantee? One, and people can vote in real time. Yes, end it. Or no, stay strong. Now some comments. So we got some comments here. So people vote, and that's going to be your next question, ladies. But we have some comments here. AI Jamaica says, Americans do not want this. It's a quagmire. Terrible. Rick Davies says, you must realize that the Iranian government is threatened to wipe out Israel and the United States off the face of the map if they were to obtain a nuclear bomb, and they weren't far away from it. Also, AI Jamaica Moves says all the deaths and damage to infrastructure, the environment, the kids, God. Another person here says 47 needs to be impeached. Why can't they get him out of office? I'm not understanding why they can't do anything about him and his terror. And AI Jamaica,
because they're useless.
Yeah,
sorry.
The UN is dysfunctional and insignificant. All right. So we caught up on comments and after we get that. So we're on that poll, people. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes. should the U.S. have Iran's no more attacks guarantee? Should the U.S. sorry, not the UN.
So let me just clarify and be clear. The one of the things on the table is no more attacks.
That's what Iran is asking for. Yeah.
That Iran is asking for no more U.S. attacks on.
Correct.
That's what they're okay. I just wanted to, by the way it was worded, I wasn't sure. Should the U.S. accept Iran's no more attacks
guarantee?
Okay, but I guess I'm trying to clarify, because the way it's worded is that Iran is saying no more attacks on them. Okay, not the other way around. Okay, thank you. Now I'm clear.
Yeah.
I would say yes. They're not going to. I already know they're not going to. I think part of the thing is this whole facade that they're keeping up. They don't want to look weak. That's the thing. They went and started something that they couldn't finish. But that's the thing. So what happens when somebody has ego? They started something they couldn't finish. They start putting all these ridiculous things in place that they know are not going to happen. So I think yes, but it's not going to happen. You're silent, Lala.
I totally agree with that. Yes, we should stop. We should accept that. And no, it's not going to happen. And you have to remember that we are dealing with a madman, so he doesn't want to be told to do anything. He always wants to look like he is on top of absolutely everything. So no matter what they ask, he will not even consider at all. But then again, they saying the same thing. Oh, we'll look at your list. That don't mean we're going to accept it. So this is where we are. We are at the complete standstill of two people, one who is a complete madman and the other side has got nothing to lose. And that's how they see it, because this has been their way of life. There has never been any peace in the Middle East. And going back to, where they said they threatened Israel and they threatened America. They've been doing that for years. This ain't nothing new. And not only that, don't forget, President Obama had that whole agreement with them that was done peacefully, and they agreed to it. And as soon as Orton Shitpants got into office, he tore it up. So he is the one who is the reason for this. So I don't want to hear no more garbage of, well, they threatened us first. No, they wasn't even messing with us. This man decided he was going to go over there and pick a fight. Now he's already looking for the next fight. He ain't even finished this fight. He's looking at Cuba now. So that tells you what we're dealing with. He's not going to do any demands at all. It would wound him deeply in his black soul to agree to anything.
So we have a comment here. It's not 47 or the Republicans. The Democrats bombed Gaddafi. And also AI Jamaica News says America needs to abandon Israel.
I think you need to separate. Totally. But everybody goes hand in hand. I don't know, people, but now I'm going to be labeled, anti-Semitic. I'm not. I'm against this government. I'm against, just as much as I'm against mine. That doesn't make me anti anything. That makes me human, pro-human. And if that's what you want to call people, then go right ahead, because I'm still going to stand firm in my beliefs.
Well, and then this whole, I keep pointing to this refusal to acknowledge wrongs that were done, and you voted no. And you may think it has nothing to do with it, but it does, because that shows me right there how you feel about us, how you feel about people that are like us. So why would we then be on the side of a nation that basically doesn't call what was done to us? I expected of the U.S., because they're many of them are a bunch of rogues anyway. But from another country who supposedly went through the original inhabitants went through enslavement themselves, if we look biblically and in the Torah, and we see that. but you couldn't even say yes. So it's all connected. This shows me the way you think. So Lala, you're not. You're just talking about facts. I think it is a cop-out to lean on that when somebody is pointing out facts, because the thing is, you're then acting off of emotion instead of logically looking at this and saying, okay, well, that's true.
Exactly.
Let me give a hypothetical situation. Say the war ends, they have this agreement, and Iran gets reparations. How would Black America feel about that?
I'm sorry. Is
that really a question? Oh,
I'm sorry. Listen.
Some kind of way.
The FBA hoteps will be all up in arms over there because they're already up in arms. But they've already, listen, there have been several times that we have had the funding to be able to give reparative actions, and it hasn't been done. You recently gave, was it 40 million to Argentina?
You do know that is a part of oh, there's so much deep to this. I'm gonna be quiet because
it's so deep.
It's so deep. Y'all have no idea how these roots are so deep and who's related to who and how they got into power and how they changed their names and how this is so deep. This ain't even funny. This ain't a surface conversation. If y'all want a full-fledged lecture, you better sign up because we can school ya.
It's not by accident that Argentina voted no.
Thank you. You better look it up. You better look it up. Who's brothers? Who's our brothers? Blood brothers. You better check it. And not to mention that we always send so much money to Israel and we can't even get health care here. How are we supporting other countries and not supporting our own? We still have homelessness. We have vets who served our country in the streets.
Yeah.
Who need help mentally, physically, spiritually, because they have been through hell for this country and we show them no respect. Yet we send all this money to Israel. Get it together. Reparations, that's that, but please.
So I remember that there's a documentary that I used to show my students called The First Amendment Project. And it was two different stories. One was when Amiri Baraka, he was the poet laureate for the state of New Jersey, but it was thought that he had said some anti-Semitic things in a poem or something, I can't remember. So the state of New Jersey took it away from him. Because of something that he said. I can't remember, but I think it was something about Israel or whatever the case. So they took it away from him. There was I can't remember the name because this has been a long time. This was like in the early 2000s that I used this. So it's like over 20 years old. So one of the people in this documentary was talking about, and he was Jewish himself and biracial, but Jewish, said something to the effect that there's a biblical reason that there's a lot of support, because if I remember correctly, that in order for, it's either the second coming or in order for peace to reign, I think it's the second coming, all people need to be repatriated to Israel. All Jews need to be repatriated to Israel. He was saying this, and that's the reason you have so many so-called Christian Americans fighting so hard for it, because they're trying to toe the biblical line. So there's a lot of religiosity that has to do with this and who supports whom and why as well.
What happened to separation between church and state?
No, only if it's other people.
There you
not
go.
Them.
Mm. Okay, more comments we got here. Here he goes. That's just small halt small hat guilt. They don't feel guilty about how they promote rappers killing and saying the N-word or killing Palestinian kids, destroying Lebanon and Iran, etc. This is also a distraction for the voter, because 47 did nothing for the voter in this election. 4 years to wait for promises, wasted. Another good point, we need money and sending it to Israel. And the person says 20 to 30 billion dollars. And then they booby trapped our words and our scriptures too. All right.
I just wonder, don't people get tired? I think I said this last week. I'm like, aren't you all tired of doing evil? It takes so much energy to be evil, to lie, and look over your shoulder. This is why I always say, I don't understand how people can be drug dealers, because you're always looking over your shoulder. So yeah, maybe you have your car, but you are this fancy car you bought, but you're always in fear that somebody is going to light it up. How is that life? Aren't you tired of being evil? I don't get it. I don't.
Enlightened Being says people are quick to label you anti anything instead of looking at facts.
Yep. Because just look at this skit this past week as well, y'all. I mean, you can drag. I mean, anything that you look at now. This is within the same topic. You know, Drewski, a very well-known comedian, came out and did an absolutely fabulous skit about Erica Kirk. They had a fit over that skit because they said he was doing whiteface instead of blackface. What they didn't like was everything that he did was the truth. It may have been put into a skit, but there were no lies told in that skit, and they can't take it. So now all of a sudden he's, oh, you're racist and blah, blah, blah. You know what my man did yesterday? He posted a picture of him and his grandfather. He said, white people can't do whiteface. I'm half white. This is my grandfather. So step off. So that's another thing. Then people want to label you. The first thing they want to label you is black as a one drop rule. Do you see how all of this is smokescreen hate, while other evil, much worse evil is also going on in the world? You worried about some stupid skit instead of worrying about you just bombed a school of girls in another country for no reason.
But it's low-hanging fruit. It's easier for them to do that than it is to really grapple with the fact of what serious harm has been done. So they do things like focus on Drewski. They'll do things like focus on social media accounts. And I'm like, meanwhile, the Hamburglar is getting away with the hamburgers.
Exactly.
I
hear him in my head right now.
Exactly. This is the most Tom and Jerry thing I have ever seen. But this is what happens when you're dealing with people who don't have the skill, the talent, or the knowledge to actually run things the way they should be run. You get a bunch of Hamburglars, Ronald McDonald, Grimaces. You get a whole bunch of just cartoon characters running around that aren't capable of doing anything but stealing hamburgers.
That's right. By the way, on that side note, a funny note, won't y'all look up what's going on with Wendy's right now?
Oh, I will. Oh, can I add another thing here?
Please do.
I was going to say that when we're talking about labels and labeling people, for example, anti-Semitic or whatever, I'm very careful when I say the term racism. There are people who throw it around just to mean everything, but it's not everything is racism. Mm-hmm. So I think part of the problem is people don't understand that racism has to do with systems that prevent people from achieving and having and living life. So for you to say that's racist shows me that you need to go back to whatever school system you got your high school diploma, if that from, and get your money back, or give the taxpayers in that district the money back because they failed you terribly. Mm-hmm. And part of the problem is we don't talk about that. So when we throw around the term racist, please understand that has to do with systems. It is not just an individual. Prejudices, yes. Any individual can be prejudiced or behave in discriminatory ways, but racism is purely and clearly with systems. So it shows you the level of idiots that we're dealing with, that they can't even discern that that is not the terminology for this.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with race. It's your action.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
We'll end it off here. It's just before we go to our next conversation piece. Does the war end this coming week?
No, baby, we in it. We in it. And I ain't gonna say in it to win it, because this is an endless. There's an endless. There, I don't see an end to this. I see this escalating, not just against who's on the playing field right now. I see more of the world also coming in to jump on this playing field, because it's going to be needed. This is endless. Don't forget that also, I think it was just yesterday that Orange Shitpants came out and said that he thinks the UN is he called them some kind of baby name. You know, you're not playing with me, so I'm gonna take my ball home. You know, pretty much called them trash because nobody will come and help. Come and help do what? What you did was illegal. It was unwarranted. And you want the world to come and play on a crooked field? I don't think so.
Dr. Tachi, is this the last week for the war?
Now, you know, Lala said it all. You already extended and lost when you started this.
Okay. That's it. All right. We're going to move to our second conversation piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to take have about a 2-minute video to introduce this. And I think a number of Americans didn't know about this story. You're going to get shocked when we talk about it. So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
The headline sounds like something out of a movie. The U.S. Treasury declares insolvency. But what would that actually mean? And more importantly, what would it mean for Americans? Let's break it down. First, insolvency doesn't mean the U.S. has run out of money the way a household does. The U.S. government operates very differently. It can print money, raise taxes, and issue debt. But if the Treasury were ever pushed to use that word insolvent, it would signal something much deeper, a loss of confidence. And confidence is everything. The U.S. economy runs on trust. Trust that the government can pay its debts. Trust that Treasury bonds are safe. Trust that the dollar holds value. If that trust cracks, the ripple effects would be immediate. You'd likely see markets react fast. Stock prices could drop. Interest rates could spike. Why? Because lenders would demand higher returns to compensate for increased risk. Translation: borrowing money, whether it's for a home, a car, or a business, gets more expensive overnight. Now think about everyday life. If rates go up, mortgages up, credit card interest climbs, small businesses feel the squeeze, hiring slows, and yes, jobs could be impacted. At the same time, the value of the U.S. dollar could weaken globally. That means imports, things like food, electronics, gas, could become more expensive. Inflation, which many people are already feeling, could intensify. But let's bring this into real perspective. The United States being declared insolvent is extremely unlikely in the traditional sense. The country controls its own currency. What's more realistic is a political or fiscal crisis, like failing to raise the debt ceiling or prolonged government dysfunction, that creates the perception of insolvency. And perception can be just as powerful as reality. So what should Americans be paying attention to? Watch government debt levels. Watch political gridlock around budgets and spending. Watch how global markets respond to U.S. financial decisions. These are the signals that matter. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about government balance sheets. It's about stability, opportunity, and the economic future that people are trying to build for themselves and their families. So the real question becomes, how prepared are Americans, not just as a country, but as individuals, if that trust ever starts to shake?
Our next story, the Treasury declared the U.S. insolvent. When Lala brought this up in our Discord, I went, what? Really? Really? And of course, the news people didn't cover it. So before the ladies,
because he owns the news people.
I do have a poll for everyone who's watching this live. Are you feeling the economy lately? So vote 1, 2, or 3. 1 is yes, a lot. 2, a little. 3, not really. So the poll is open, and let's get to our conversation topic. The U.S. Treasury just declared the U.S. insolvent. People's thoughts. Go ahead.
Our intro had a lot of things saying trust. I don't trust our government. I haven't trusted our government in a long time, but I really don't trust it up underneath this administration when absolutely everything he does is for profit. And there have been massive reports about how he and his family have tapped into every way possible, allowing grants, funding, and supporting things, and then granting them who are over people who are over it is his family members. All this money is going in his pocket, but let's look at this, because one thing that people don't really look at, they hear this and they go, because yes, we already know we're in trouble. But let's look at the debt interest number for just 2025. America paid $970 billion in net interest in just 2025. And that interest bill on debt is held by the public. And that's tied into 1 trillion. It's just like when you take your credit cards, y'all, and you run them up to 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, and you're only paying the minimum amount of $25 a month. It continues to accrue. So we can't balance our budget. We're spending way more on the interest that we owe people. We can't pay our people if they call it due. And believe me, we call a lot of these people, we should be worried about it. The ones that are holding the purse strings, that if they decided to call their loan due, we would be in a world of trouble. Worse than you think that we are now. So you got to strip away the accounting language, because some people just don't get it. They just hear it and they go, oh, really? We really need to see that this is a true warning. The government's liabilities and their long-term promises are swallowing the nation as a whole. And this administration keeps spending like there's no bottom to the barrel. They want the public focused on slogans and enemies and don't look at the Epstein files. They're actually, even our government is putting out propaganda on their websites. If immigrants weren't here, you can afford housing. Yet they support all the people who are buying up all the houses. This is actually obscene. And we just said that Pete Hegseth just asked for another $200 billion for a war when we're already in so much debt we can't breathe. And don't forget, we're not paying the average person, because it's a power play. For over a month and a half, we weren't paying TSA. And then he called in ICE, and that became a complete fiasco. And yet yesterday, all of a sudden, he wants to be the hero and sign to pay TSA. He signed that yesterday. Y'all, this money is not magic money. Printing, I know you said in the intro, you can print extra money, but how can you print extra money when there is nothing to back it? You have to have the gold in Fort Knox and other places to back what you're printing. And that's what everybody's saying, just print more money. No, baby, that means the dollar is falling, and it has fell. I don't know if you looked at exchange rates lately, but a lot of expats are suffering because when they have to transfer money to the euro, they are losing hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on how much they are trading. We do not have enough money. We don't produce anything that is viable within our country. Our farmers are failing. In fact, nobody's talking about what's going on in Nebraska, where the wildfires are killing all of the farmers, crops and stuff. They don't even know how they're going to plant anything. If you can't produce, you can't bring in income. So therefore, you have to continue to borrow. When you continue to borrow, what happens when you do that? You lose your house. If it's regular people, you lose your house, and the credit card companies come after you. That's what's going to happen. We will lose our house, and we will lose our credit from the credit people, because we are not trustworthy. If they don't like us that much and they don't like what we're doing, they can very much say, China can say, guess what? Just like they did the last time when he was putting those tariffs on it. Well, guess what? We're going to cut all off the middleman. Let me tell you, we can make this $5,000 purse for you for $100. Order from us straightly. We'll even waive the shipping fees. So you have to put this in perspective where people understand. When you don't have enough money to pay your household bills, your house will be taken from you. And this is in the position that we are now. And once again, all he's really concerned about is putting his name on everything, because guess what he has now proposed? That he is going to put himself on all of our currency. He don't give a shit about what it means. It's worthless, but it sure got the Trump name on it. So here's the real deal. America is in deep financial trouble. The call is coming from inside the house. This administration is spending like the Treasury is Trump's personal checking account. Now, I do want to be very clear. I want to be very clear about someone use Aisha's term. Let me be very clear. This all didn't just start under Trump. Like, this is something that has actually built up over years and years. So I can't honestly say and truthfully say that it's all Trump's fault. Now, he, of course, is making things absolutely worse and spending like everything is water. But this did not start with him. This did not start with him. It is the people that are going to pay the price. And the billionaires will continue to pad their pockets like they're doing right now and putting poor people, because you know they don't want middle class. You might as well consider yourself poor now. Ain't no middle class. Putting all these things like AI data centers in poor neighborhoods where they're going to suffer psychologically, physically, and everything while they're padding their pockets. The rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer and sicker. So this is a very dangerous place that we're in, because if people start calling due what they want from us, and then regular people are truly being asked to sacrifice while the grifters are cashing in, this is a game. You know, if you bankrupt the country, you're not just bankrupting it money. You're actually bankrupting it morally. You're bankrupting it, of course, fiscally and politically, because that is power in the world. And then you want to wrap it all up into the United States of the flag and say it's American and present it to the people like, ta-da, this is where we are. We are in a very, very dangerous place. People don't understand you. People at home are feeling it. Gas is $9 in San Diego. Gas is $10 in Lincoln, Nebraska. Gas is almost $10 in Los Angeles. I've Kentucky. Oh my God. Kentucky. You would think Kentucky would do pretty good. They got gas there. They have all the stuff they pumping, but no, they're not either. They're well over $6. So it is the American people who are not making it paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people are putting their bills and their groceries on credit cards. At some point, it's all going to tip. And if the average American person is feeling this, it's just a matter of time where the scales will tip, where all of America, even the billionaires, are going to feel it at some point, because the respect politically and all this, nobody's going to trust us. And they want to call it due, they will. And who owns us? Baby China.
Dr. Tachi?
Once again, you're asking me to sing after Patti LaBelle. So 2,000% co-signing on everything Lala said. There are a couple of things that I guess I just want to add to, because I can't make it better, because she's already done a superb job of outlining everything. So I think the signing the money, when I saw I'm like, every day it's bloody something new. Can we just have one day with that? Every day it's something new. But I realized something. You know, when you make a checklist of the tasks that you need to accomplish, and then you check them off, and you feel like you've accomplished something. Maybe there's something on there that you don't feel you can do, so you switch it out for something else. What has happened here is the entire list of things that really need to be done to make this country run and a better place have been swapped out for foolishness like, put my name on all the bills. Talk about the price of Sharpies, because that is what he is capable of. That is the low-hanging fruit, and that's all he can do. Yes, you expect more and better, but he's not capable of that. So seeing all these things in the news where you're like, oh, come on, where are the cameras? Smile, you're on candid camera. It must be candid camera, but it's not, because this is the only thing that he is capable of. And so I'm realizing that now, that he's checking off these things because it makes him feel as if he's accomplished something, but that's all he's capable of accomplishing. It's actually quite sad. Also,
and I do stand corrected. Let me say one correction. You're right, Gary. I said China, but it is actually Japan who is the largest debt holder of American.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. God forbid they call it in. Yes, we would like our money now. And speaking of money, when we talk about gold, you're 100% correct that this is not something that started now. It's been exacerbated to astronomical proportions now, but this is not something that started now with this administration. But we haven't for a very long time had enough gold to back anything. So we really are playing with monopoly money at this point. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 because it's going to be monopoly money.
I think for years that people also have been trying to get into Fort Knox to see if there's any gold in there.
It's like there's probably a note on a pallet that said, "Sorry, we had to borrow this to." There's probably nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
I think though for the most part, this is all terrible, but it's going to force the world to take a hard look at why the US dollar is if we're talking about it in language terms, if it was a language, the lingua franca of the world. Mm-hmm. Because when that tanks, so does everything else. So I think it's actually quite dangerous that you have one currency that is considered the quote unquote gold standard. And now look what happens. And apparently they've been lying this whole time, and there's nothing there. They pull back the curtain, and it's not a grand and powerful wizard. It's this small man. So maybe it's a wake-up call for us globally not to tie everything to one currency.
I think that it's become more and more evident. Let's go back again. Remember the speech that Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, made a number of months ago saying, it's a whole new world now. We got to change, and that just lingers. Again, we're doing a poll here. If you're watching live, are you feeling the economy lately? 1, if you vote 1, yes, a lot. 2, a little, and 3, not really. So right now it's 50-50 at a present moment. Also, comments we've got a little while back. We had, let me just pull them. I just lost my train for a second. Okay. So Gary says it's against the law for a current president to place his likeness or sign name on currency. Also, AI Jamaican News says spending on small hats. And Gary also says America produces weapon systems. Which is true. They're a bigger weapons producer. Again, this article says insolvent. The Treasury declared the U.S. insolvent.
The Treasury.
The Treasury.
Insolvent.
This ain't some, expose Inquirer story. This is the Treasury.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah. Like that is, and again, that's crazy. That's just
and the thing is, this also shows this is very simple on a simple level. You have not been a good steward of the money that you have been given. This money doesn't just materialize out of nowhere. It comes from us.
Every last penny.
Taxpayer money. The thing that makes government run here is the taxpayer money. So this shows me that I've been paying you all these years, and you have proven that you cannot be a good steward of your money. Although I'm not just saying now, Lots of governments have always proven that you don't know how to manage money well, this government included. But you're not a good steward of money, and we've been paying you. And here's the thing. You're 100% right that eventually even the billionaires are going to feel this. But in the interim, they're not. The people who's going to suffer, who will suffer, is those of us that are not in the $1 million club. Look, even millionaires are not safe. We have to talk about billionaire level to be, but even them for a while, millionaires will be okay. It's the average everyday person that will start to feel all of this.
So Jen Meyer says, and my 401k has gone down so much in the past few weeks. When I looked at it again yesterday, I wanted to throw up.
But see, this is why it's annoying. For that 401k, as little as it is, you end up, say you have an employer that matches, so you do the maximum amount allowed because your employer is going to match you. When I was at my other university, that's what it was. So you forego whatever you could do with that money in the interim, and it's taken out of your paycheck and you don't see it. And they say, oh, well, it's better not to see it anyway. But see, this is the narrative that they use to keep us in a poverty mindset so that we don't question the thing. Most people are going to remain where they are. I'll never forget when I think I was in first grade or second grade, and it was Sister Mary. She said, most people that are poor are going to remain poor their entire lives. And that's because you accept the mindset that is the case.
That's right.
So yeah. So when you look at things like your 401k or whatever, they're like, okay, well, you never mind, we pay taxes. You make sure that you save for the future, and you do that, and then you do that. You put in the maximum amount allowed or not, but you put in something, and then something like this happens. Because your 401k is not just staying there unless it's all money market, but for the most part, lots of people have it invested in different things. It's like, stocks. So now you're looking, you're like, wow. So the money that I forwent, is that a word? Forwent to add to my savings for future is now basically gone. Do you see why people are so annoyed?
That's right.
Yeah, but the president cares about them.
Oh, that just now you want me to throw up.
Jeez. So Jen Meyer says exactly, Dr. Tachi. And another person says the billionaires when the masses revolt. They just keep on collecting.
They keep on collecting.
Keep on collecting. Our poll, are you feeling the economy lately? 1, yes, a lot right now, 67%. 2 is a little, 33%. How are you showing up Americans? Is it just as the American dream, now the American nightmare?
Yeah. Yes, it is, because anytime where you have people are struggling just to eat, who are struggling to even just get to their jobs, because let's put this in perspective. All right, so you say, okay, I'm going to save gas by I'm going to take public transportation. Well, guess what? Public transportation is also going to go up because that diesel fuel is already going up as well. Everything you touch, everything you eat, everything you breathe, every water drop in your home, every light that you turn on costs money. And every last thing that I have just mentioned to you has gone astronomically crazy just in the last month, where people who were just floating are now sinking a little bit further, where they're gasping just because that water is just now hitting them up here. And it's not going to be long before our people are drowning.
If I may, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Would you
I saw Dr. Vibe wanted to.
Would you say, Dr. Vibe?
Would you say it's already beginning? It's already happening.
It's already happened. I know people that it's already happened to. And there's nothing that you can do. And they say, well, go to the food banks. Baby, the food banks are begging people to donate.
Right.
So this is a non-win situation where every day people are having to make the hard decision to eat or to go to work. Or maybe not even feed themselves, but maybe feed their children. Baby, ramen noodles, you can used to buy 10 packets of ramen noodles for $1. Shit, now the ramen noodles are $1, just one packet. So that's crazy.
And this is a whole cyclical thing. I mean, you look at the ramen noodles are not the healthiest thing. So now if that becomes your diet, your steady diet, you now have other problems like hypertension, high cholesterol, which you don't have the money to fix. So this just causes lots of problems. It is so cyclical. Sorry, were you going to say something, Dr. Vibe?
I was. It just said that old adage. So you go into the grocery store and there's a lot of things that are prominent that are bad for you. And a lot of these grocery stores have pharmacies in them. So in the front end, they feed you the bad food. And in the back end, they're going to get money from you also because, hey, you just have to stop at the grocery store and get your pharmaceuticals for the bad food that was given to you.
Exactly.
This person says, my bad for the typo, the billionaires. And I think we want to say, will feel the pain when the masses revolt, not feel, but feel. But we get you. Sorry, Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
No. It's fine. So can you ask the initial question first? Go ahead.
The initial question.
Yeah.
Our topic. Yes. Okay. Let me bring that up. Our initial topic was just the whole impact of the Treasury declared the U.S. insolvent.
No. There was something you just asked. Lala, you just answered.
Do you think it's going to get worse?
Yes, and I said is it? And you're saying
it already
it already is. I said, isn't it already getting worse?
Yes. So I think we have to be pragmatic when it comes to this whole thing with the American dream. I think it has always been a dream and a farce because it's not something that was meant to be afforded to everyone.
That's right.
It was something that was meant to placate you so you don't revolt from anger. The fact that, or the thought that there is something greater if you just try hard, if you sacrifice, if you eat ramen noodles all the time, the fact that there's something greater on the other end, for some, yes. But I think when you have societal factors that make it near impossible to really reach the full potential, and then they blame you, that is not the makings of a great society. Now, granted, not everything is a societal ill and society's fault. You do have to take some personal responsibility, but the machine plays a huge role in whether or not you're able to reach certain things. And this whole concept of American dream and getting a house right now, the average age, and you know this, realtor extraordinaire, the average age of first-time home ownership has gone up because Gen Z can't afford to buy homes. So now it's going up and up and up. And home ownership in this country is the primary way that people gain wealth.
Yep.
Most people's wealth is in their home.
And don't forget, that's the first thing people tap into as well when they get in trouble. They start going, the first thing they do is they try to get a home equity loan, or, you know, they try to refinance, and then they end up losing wealth because they've taken their equity out and used it just for daily living. So this whole thing is a cycle. We could go down and down and down. This is nothing but a domino effect that we have seen before, and we're seeing again. It's always been up and down. Let's be very truthful. Especially the real estate world is either up, it's either down. You either one or two. Real estate is still a good way for you to build your wealth if you do it smartly, and if you can do it. But there is a reason why the first time home ownership is moving toward the age of 40 almost. For the first time that they're able to buy something. That is sad. That is sad, especially when you have people like what is going on this week, the CPAC. CPAC is going on, and you had a young lady who came out and literally said out of her mouth, we must encourage our children to go ahead, get married, and have lots and lots of babies, more than you can afford. Wait a minute. You're telling people to have children no matter how much debt you're going to be in your life. Yet you're supposed to say family first, but then you don't want to help these people when they need the help to feed these babies. Do you see what kind of crazy madness we're in right now? It's like a snake eating its tail.
Well, and it's strategic. It creates an underclass.
That's right. But you know, she's touting that because that's the new Christian value. I don't know what Christian they reading, but I just got through reading Luke, and this don't match what Jesus' blueprint said.
We need to stop calling them Christians because that is not Christ-like. Nationalists, that's what they are because they're not Christians.
That's right. That's right.
As we start to wind it down, then what do you see? Put the crystal ball up. What's the American economy going to look like by the end of this year?
It's going to be in worse shambles than we are right now. We are in a war that is going to tap into everything that we do. The very simple fact of gas, like I just told you, the lights, everything is going up. And it's not just the American thing there. It is worldwide. Down in Australia, a young lady walked into a store and she was like, y'all not gonna believe this. I kid you not. I'm not a content creator. I'm just a regular person. And this is the first time I've ever gone live in my life. But I am going to show you something. She turned that camera around and there was nothing in that store, because they can't get the trucks to come because of the fuel. When you aren't feeding people, what you think is going to happen? People are going to start dying over this. People are already stretched to their limits mentally, physically. And here we are financially. You can't take that much pressure and expect anything good to come out of it. Because when that comes, so does evilness even rears its ugly head, because now someone wants to take what you have because they don't have. So you see the dominoes and the snake effect. Is this going to get better? Dr. Vibe, no, sir. It is not. It's not going to get any better for any of us.
Can I add to that?
Please.
It just occurred to me that when, you hear people talking about these things, and it's the people who are used to a somewhat of a certain level of lifestyle that this is really going to affect most. If you live in a shanty in Lagos, for example, it will affect you, but not the same way it would affect someone here. Who is it? Because you are already used to that level. Is that, well, all right, that just means more of nothing today. Yeah. Is that right? No.
Yeah. That just hit my heart.
But it can teach us something about resilience. And just like I've been talking about the media industries and what's happening there, it's changing. The media companies that we knew that were once mainstays where you could be assured of XYZ is no more. So Hollywood, the way we know it, is done. Media, the way we know it, is done. So what do I keep saying to people? Well, we're just going to have to get used to making less money in this industry because it's been, I don't want to say overinflated because I don't like to put a dollar sign on somebody's worth. But just like, this because you are a realtor, some houses you're like, now, good and damn well that house is not worth $1.2 million and it's a 2-room house. So this is what's been happening in the US. We have a lot of industries where it's a 2-room house and people are charging $3.5 million for it. So we need to probably come back to earth and say, all right, we know that we're going to have to get used to this not being the standard in this industry anymore. And then once you stop thinking like it needs to be this astronomical amount, things will fall back to earth, because it doesn't have to be. And I keep thinking about media. I'm like, you don't have to make that much money in order for this to work. You only have to do it because you're publicly traded and you're beholden to the shareholders. But if you're a private company, you don't have to do that. And maybe we need to stop expecting, when people go off to Hollywood to make money, they're trying to be, multimillionaires. I'm not saying anything. I want to be a multimillionaire too. However, I know that in order for something to work, it doesn't have to be that. And I'm not going to fling myself off of the bed if it doesn't end up being that. Does that make sense? I think we just need to reel it all in. And once we do that, it's like, all right, well, now we're where we should be. And stop exploiting.
I feel like we're so far off. I don't even think we're even, I don't know about you, but I'm 56 and I ain't going to see it in this lifetime.
Probably not.
All right. Let's go to some comments here. Let's go here. We got some comments. Put it up here. Gary says blacks probably weren't given the same rules on reaching the dream of getting a house. Banks redlining blacks and steering us within other black hoods.
It's still going on. Matter of fact, it's never gone away. It's just been put in a corner somewhere where people can't see it. But now it's actually back out in the open again. Don't nobody care. Didn't y'all not hear about these white communities not allowing black people in? But you let the black people do a community, they coming to burn it next week.
History says that. All right. Before we wrap it up, our last poll was this. Are you feeling the economy lately? 50% said yes a lot. 25% said a little. And 25% said not really. I'd like to do that poll again in a few weeks and see what comes up.
Do it. I want to see the difference.
Okay. All right, everyone. We'd like to say thank you to the ladies, as always, for hanging out with us. And they do it so well. So I'll show the final results of the poll. Just want to make sure that's up. All right. It's done. We always want to say thank you for them taking time. They keep on doing it. I don't know how they do it, but they just keep on doing it. All right. So let's start with this. Oh, this is how we'll start it off. Bang, bang. Just navigate my way through all this stuff. There's so many things to tap on. Can't forget Aisha. You can get a hold of her at Instagram at AKStaggers, Medium, AishaKStaggers.medium.com, Blue Sky at AKStaggers.bsky.social, Friend of Media, friendofmedia.com, and Substack at Aisha A. Staggers. Now it's time to bring up the doctor.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on again. It's always a joy to hang out with you all and talk the political side of things, because I usually don't. So thank you. And you can actually reach me and get to know everything I do by going to my link tree, which is right here below. So feel free to reach out and check out what we do. At the beginning of the show, I also mentioned that I am the founder of IndieSoup Media, which is an independent network for independent content creators. We'd love to add you to the family. So watch us at IndieSoup. There we go. On YouTube. We're on vacation right now. We'll be back in June, but you can still watch all the wonderful shows that we have. And there are 30 shows. You can watch the replay, including this show, including Primetime Saturdays and lots of other Dr. Vibe productions. Thank you, Dr. Vibe.
My pleasure, my honor. Next up, it's the key.
Well, here I am. I'm here every week, and I absolutely love it. It gives me a chance to share my frustrations with you because I'm sure a lot of you also feel the same way. Don't let other people silence your voice because we are the power of the whole country. Speak out against the things that you don't agree with, but most importantly, not just speak out, do something about it. Now, listen, if you want to find me, you can find me at laurakey.net. I have a lot of freebies on there, but the one that I'm going to tell you about today is because people are going to need it, is a budget planner. I have a free budget planner. It goes pretty deep. It'll help you kind of get a hold on your finances, especially in these tough times. So just go to my website, download that for free, and then check out the other freebies. If they should interest you and pique your interest, go ahead and do that as well. Listen, I also have a really fun place, and I'm part of the things that I could do to keep myself calm is to create things. And so I have an Etsy store. So please visit that at Living the Lala Life. And then, of course, if you like anything at all, Lala loves coffee. And if you want coffee with me, go ahead and go buy me a coffee at the Rebirth of Lala.
Lala, I have a feeling that your budget thing is going to get very popular very fast.
Yes, I hope so that they can get a handle on their money.
Okay, so before we let you off screen, what's one or two quick budget tips you could give our family?
First
Simple.
thing, do not rely on your credit cards. Everything that you can possibly do, if you can get a consolidation loan for your credit cards and then put those away, literally do. You'll get a better turnaround if you can get a consolidation with a better interest rate than you're paying on your high credit cards now. So if you have a lot of them and you can get a consolidation loan, please do that, but then put those credit cards away and pay down that loan.
It's interesting. There is a bank in Canada here that they will allow you to do a transfer and they charge you a 0 interest rate for the first 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Plenty of them out there. Please go look.
All right. Fantastic. Dr. Vibe time. So let me put myself up here. There we go. And we'll do this. And we'll do this. All right. So if you want to find out about me, easy, taplink.cc/the drvibeshow.com. Also, can't forget, if you have some time, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I'm on, email me dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. That's it for another show, everybody. Want to say thank you for watching live or on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. And we close out with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history, but try to do both. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith while good, and take care.